Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about a company that has been a staple in the Midwest for nearly 2 decades, Raber Portable Storage. If you're in need of quality storage solutions, look no further. Whether it's a barn, shed, or garage, Raber has the largest selection of handcrafted storage structures in all of Indiana. Each building is made with care by experienced craftsmen, ensuring you get a product that not only looks great, but is built to last. And guess what? They stand by their workmanship with a fantastic 5-year warranty. What sets Raber apart? It's their commitment to customer satisfaction. From the moment you step into one of their many locations, their friendly team is ready to help solve your storage issues. Plus, they deliver up to 250 miles from their main office in Montgomery, Indiana. So if you live in Ohio, Kentucky, or Illinois, you need to give them a call. Now, let me tell you about the heart behind Raber Storage. It all started back in 2000 when they began building sheds full time. The founder grew up helping his father construct barns with just gas-powered skill saw and a lot of determination. Today, Raber has grown into a full-fledged operation with dedicated staff, but that personal touch still remains. They treat every customer like family. So if you're ready to find perfect storage solution, visit Raber Portable Storage. They have Indiana locations in Bloomington, Seymour, Vincent, Spencer, Corydon, West Lafayette, Sellersburg, and Kokomo, and even Tilton, Illinois. So you'll never have to go too far for quality storage. And hey, we got a deal for you today. If you mention you heard it from the podcast, Rabers will give you $150 off your barn purchase. That's right. You save $150 off your purchase by just mentioning you heard it here on the podcast. So check out their website at raberportablestorage.com. That's raberportablestorage.com to learn more and find your nearest location. Trust me, when you choose Raber, you're not just buying a shed, you're investing in quality craftsmanship and service you can rely on. This show is brought to you by Zach's Creamery in Montgomery or Jasper, Indiana. Zach's Creamery was founded with creating a pleasant and memorable experience in mind. They strive to serve the most exceptional homemade ice creams and signature coffees in an exuberant atmosphere. Zach's has something for everyone, as he features several items for those with special dietary needs such as vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, and no sugar-added, keto, diabetic friendly. Visit them today in Montgomery or Jasper, Indiana. You can dine in or drive through, but whichever way you choose, do not forget you can order online and have it waiting for you when you get there. Order online at zaxcreamery.com. That's Zach's Creamery, Z-A-X Creamery.com, and stop in at Montgomery or Jasper, Indiana. Is how you spend, save, and invest your hard-earned cash glorifying the Lord? Well, at Dominion Wealth Strategists, they believe that your finances should reflect your faith. As a distinctly reformed full-service wealth management firm, they are here to help you steward God's gifts wisely. From comprehensive financial planning to wealth-building strategies rooted in biblical principles, they offer their core services with no financial barrier to entry. Whether you're planning for retirement, building generational wealth, or just getting started, Dominion Wealth Strategists are here to guide you every step of the way. From baptism to burial, Dominion has you covered. Visit them at reformed.money. That's reformed.money, and take the first step toward financial stewardship that honors Christ. That's reformed.money. Please visit them today. Hello and welcome to the TC Cooks Show, brought to you by PH Media. We are here at the Fight Laugh Feast Network, and we're sitting down today with Charlton Haupt. He is the new CEO, right? We'll call you that, and of the Business Maker Network, which is an incredible thing, which we're going to dive into. But Charlton, thank you so much for joining the show.
Hey, glad to be here, TC. It's always a pleasure talking with you, brother.
Oh, it's awesome, man. So me and you got to meet, in the spring, I believe, and right here in Tennessee, actually, where you guys were hosting a kind of a breakout session, if you will, or a small conference for the Business Maker Network. Incredible time of just teaching and growth and talking to business owners. But what I wanted to kind of dive into first off is explain to people what the Business Makers Network is and what the vision is, because it's an incredible vision, but what the vision is to see it grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So most simply put, Business Makers Network is a Christian networking group. Now, we have these networking groups all over the country. Every town has one.
Right.
There's big international ones, like BNI is the largest, and we have like the biggest Christian one, which is the C12, right? Which it deals exclusively with C-suite execs, right?
Right.
Well, what we realized when we looking at all these different networks is that we don't see any network that's a Christian network that is being intentional about being salty as a group for the betterment of their local area and the country.
Right.
A lot of guys, they'll get together and say, oh yeah, we just want to do business. We'll talk about Christ in business. And yes, we want to make sure that we're establishing business principles.
Right.
Christian principles in these things, and maybe try to create some like Christian culture in this. But, the truth is, if we're being honest, is that like we're not doing well in affecting, the world around us in real ways, other than like, here's a job, and I'm going to make sure that you're treated nicely.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know about you, but just 4 or 5 years ago, boys are boys and girls are girls was not a political statement.
That's right.
And somehow now that's a political statement.
Yeah.
Right? Like murdering babies.
And businesses have to take a stance either way, and they have to do it right. They're being forced. Yeah,
it's an absolute joke. Murdering babies is not a political statement.
Right.
It's murder.
Yeah.
Transing kids is not a political statement. It's evil, wicked, and wrong. And so what Business Makers Network is doing is saying, okay, look, it's time for Christians. We have all of the cards. We have all the money that we need.
Right.
We have all of the networking that we need. We're just not actually doing the thing. We don't care enough.
Right.
Because we don't want to be political. We want to be winsome,
Who was the speaker yesterday in the Business Makers thing that brought out the fact that Christian businesses actually hold the most wealth throughout the world?
Yep, that was Jun Shiomitsu.
Yes.
Yeah, that dude was awesome. That dude was way awesome.
International business guy. Yeah, crushed it.
Yeah, and I don't know, he didn't bring this up. I've this specific point I've learned elsewhere, but like, I don't know if you know this, but a dollar bill exchanges hands at least 20 times in a Jewish community before it leaves that community.
Right.
Muslims, same thing. They're just doing work with each other. Us Christians, we absolutely suck at this.
Yeah.
We are terrible. We're like, oh yeah, we'll just spend money here, spend money there. And it's like, but then we're sitting here complaining about like, well, stop transing kids. It's like, how in the world we are the most powerful group if we actually had a common vision and we said, no, actually, I'm not going to do business with them. Well, why not? Because they're supporting these people that support evil, wicked, and wrong things.
Right.
And we're just not going to do that anymore. In fact, I'm going to do business with other people who have the same, and I hate calling them values, I actually call them virtues.
Right.
Values are subjective.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like virtues. Have these same, biblical truth, objective things.
Right.
And we're going to stand on these things. Why? Because this is the way that God made the world, man.
Yeah.
It's good. It's beautiful. It's right. And so we want the good, true, and beautiful to actually excel in this world so we can be salty and make this world a better place that God has called us to do. So that's what business makers are saying, okay, well, what if we just got our businesses together to do this?
Yeah, if we actually do own the most wealth throughout the world, not just American Christian, he was talking about the world, collectively. But if we do have that, then why not get together and grow together, inside of that? That's what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And so instead of doing businesses like I get it. If you can't buy a phone from anybody besides Apple or Android, okay, fine. But like, where can you spend your money right now? Like, is there a Christian brother that you can spend the money on rather than giving it to a pagan?
Sure.
Let's keep the money in the covenant first off, right?
But let's be honest, right? And when I mean that is not saying you're not being honest. Let's go back to the 90s, right? Where in the 90s, the ichthus came in, right? And the Christian fish was on on all contractor trucks, and they were putting it in their title, and then you would hire them because you're like, hey, they're a Christian, I hire them, and then you would get shoddy work, right? And so for a while, doing business with Christians actually didn't bless you, and it didn't really bless them, right? And I do think there's a shift happening, and me and Stuart were from Page 50, we're just talking about this, and I think the shift is coming because I think pastors are actually starting to teach how good work is and how we do it to the glory of God and the good of people, right? And so there is a shift to where we need to, yes, there's still those people who think if I just put Jesus cross in my logo or whatever, then that just means people should do business with me, right? And I don't have to do good work. It just means that they have to do, and they'll be gracious because they're Christians,
100%.
right?
Well,
that's changing.
There's a difference between virtue signaling here.
Virtue and virtue signaling, right?
And so that's like, we don't want to do that, right? Like even for our networking group, like if you joined our networking group just because you wanted to get more sales, like you're not going to last.
Amen.
I will kick you out.
Right.
Like I'm not here for that. Like, do I want your business to be blessed and you get a ton of it? 110%.
Yeah, and can it be a connection point to people saying, hey, I'm actually looking for like a marketer. Do you know of any good marketers?
Yes.
And you're like, yes, actually we have. And you do a good job of that in the network. You always post out, hey, do we have anybody here? Or, hey, so-and-so, connect with so-and-so. And so, yes, you still do that, right? But that's not the reason that you're saying to join, right?
And the nice thing about our group that we have right now, because we're taking a political stance, we drive off a lot of people who aren't interested in the like, they're like, that's political. It's like, well, if you think that a boy and a girl is a boy and a girl is a girl is political, you're not for this group.
Right.
Like, you're just not. You're not going to last anyway, you know? And so the nice thing about it is we are weeding people out. Like, there is a reality, too. Like, we want any real Christian to join. Right. So we say, okay, well, what does that mean?
It's still ecumenical, right?
Right. Yeah. Like you have to adhere to the Apostles' Creed. If you can't, that's the lowest bar I can set for you. Right. You have to adhere to the Apostles' Creed.
But it's good.
You have to be a regular attendee of your church, right? And we have to know what church you go to, because if you tell us LDS, like, sorry, but you don't count. Right, because they'll say yes to the other two, and it's like, well, you're not. No,
and the sad part is they're creating large companies, right?
Right, and they're doing things that are good, like some things are good, true, and beautiful, right? I mean, like it's like not everything, but like there's some things like I'm not going to tell you you're doing a bad job at Angel Studios. Like there's certain things like, wow, okay, but again, for us Christians, like, well, then why are we just rolling over? I mean, why? Like, I want to see a competitor with Angel Studios, or competitor, like how do we work ahead and just buy them out and then you know work it, like let's, you know, the good news is, at least with that too, is that they're at the very least running in the same direction on some of these basic things, right? Like I can link arms with Mormons and Catholics to say, stop murdering babies, right? Like we have some common ground here on these things that we can work together on. So anyway, but back to the network side, like we are building those things out. We want it to be a group of believers who have a purpose together, realizing we need to take dominion of the world around us, and we don't want to be people who the world happens to, but we happen to the world. We are salty. Let us go be salty.
And let's be honest, the moment we start doing that, fear actually sets in with a lot of people. Right? And because they actually, Elon Musk, who has publicly said he was an atheist, right? Not agnostic, but he was an atheist. I do see a shift in him. I'm not saying he's still atheist. I'm just saying he has said that. And but he said out of his mouth, Christian values are actually better for the world. That's what he said. And it's like, yes, I agree. And but we walk around in business and in life thinking that well, you know, I just have to be quiet, or you know, I shouldn't say this, or I shouldn't do that, or it might turn somebody off. And it's like, well, the gospel is offensive to those who are in sin, right? It is, and it should be. And then you hope that offense drives them to repentance, right? And so as you go around and you're meeting with business owners, you're setting up networks so business owners can network, can encourage, can grow, right, with each other, learn from each other, right, and also be a force in the political sphere, but in America right now, right, be a force in that. What have you been noticing that has been distinctive in Christian businesses, true Christian business, not just the guy who virtue signals, right? But the business owner, the business who actually is living virtuously.
Yeah, that's a great question. Some things that I've just noticed within our group, because it's who we're attracting,
Right,
We're
right.
attracting these like really heavy hitters like yourself. I'm just okay. What does it really mean to be a Christian who like truly walking the faith
Right.
while in business? And Ecclesiastes is pretty clear. Like what are we to do? Like what is our life really summed up down to? It's like, well, to eat and drink, right, and to enjoy the work,
Right.
Enjoy the work.
Yeah.
And so I think the work itself. And enjoying the work and doing something excellent,
Right.
Rather than doing a money grab, enjoying the work is the thing,
Yeah.
right? It becomes the goal. The work is the goal. It's
Right.
not, I'm doing this work. I don't like this work. This work is a vexation, and I'm going to go do the thing on the weekend.
Right,
It's like,
right.
no, actually, I'm doing this work because this work matters.
Yeah.
It matters.
'Cause
This
everything
work
does.
is my ministry, right?
Right.
Like if I'm a farmer, it matters because I put food on the table, right?
Right.
If I work at the sewer plant, it matters. Why? Because like I help clean society, keep
Right.
society clean,
Right.
right? Like, so whatever it is that you're doing, if it's something that is toward the good of those around you, right?
Right.
You want to take that seriously. You want to do the work, and you want to be not just. You want to enjoy it.
Right.
You want to enjoy it. And so I think that is the defining characteristic I found is like those who take the work, embrace the work, enjoy the work, and do it all into the glory of God, right? So
Yeah.
like I do this because God.
Right.
And so not just like I'm just going to do this and just let my work alone speak for being a Christian.
Right.
It's like, well, yeah, you don't have to virtue signal in everything that you do by any means, right?
Right.
But like when it does come time to share your faith, recognize like, okay, you have a role to play. Like I think this is so great about, not to bring everything back to like Charlie Kirk. It's the first time I'm mentioning it in this show, but that's exactly what he did, right? Like people are like, oh, Charlie Kirk, he was like this political guy, and then you were like, no, actually he wasn't. He just fought in politics, but he was very, very much and wide open about like, I am a Christian, and that's the thing that actually matters the most, and I'm just fighting the Christian battle in this sphere of politics. So like, if you are first and foremost a Christian, right, and you are there to be salty in the area that you are doing, then go take dominion of that area.
Right.
For whatever industry you're in, go be the best. Like we need that. We need that. We want Christians to own everything because we believe that evil men should fear righteous rule.
Right.
That this world belongs to our Father and therefore belongs to us. And since it therefore belongs to us, what should we do? How should we handle it?
But there's so many people though that would say, how dare you say that?
Yeah.
Right? How dare you say that? Because the world is actually okay with Christianity as long as it's quiet.
Yeah.
Right? They're perfectly fine with it. They're perfectly fine with it. The moment we stop being quiet, they're like, whoa, hold on here. You can't say that.
Yeah.
God doesn't own everything.
Don't you know separation between church and state?
Which is not even what that was meant for, right?
It's
like,
a joke.
like if you come out of England and they had a church the state ran the church, that's what they were trying to protect against, right? They were trying to protect against a government who ran church, but that doesn't mean government can't be Christian.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That doesn't mean that at all. And actually, the Bible says that a righteous ruler is good for the people, right? And so we've got to understand that. And the same thing with business. It doesn't mean that we segregate our Christian virtues from business, but it means if I run a business with Christian virtues, it will be blessed, right? And does that mean that you're not going to make mistakes? Nope, you will, right?
Yep.
But it's how you handle those mistakes that matter, right? So the firm foundation of our faith is repentance and forgiveness of sin. So when we make a mistake, we repent, we make it right, and we make a change. Right? And that's what we do. We own up, we make it right, we do it, and we grow. Because listen, you will not know everything when you get into business. You won't.
Just like anything else.
You have to learn, you have to grow, you have to do all these things. And you know what's interesting, Charlton, is I've seen that business books, okay? I love learning about business, love reading. Well, there is a drought of Christian business books and material. Right? And because people are afraid, I don't know why, but it seems like people are afraid to actually say that, right?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with it's the entire, do you serve God or do you serve money?
Right.
Argument, right? And
so if you get wealthy, that obviously means you're serving money.
Yeah, somehow you're no longer, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. Now I will say it's interesting though, is like I will say this, like this is surprising, if you're going to work.
Yeah.
And it is a burden, it is a vexation to you, then I would argue that you're actually serving money.
Okay, I get it.
And the reason is because and money is a terrible master.
Right.
Because you're going because you have to for money. But if you're serving the Lord, right, and your work is a joy,
yeah,
right, then generally speaking, the money is just all it is a fruit to do that work.
So let's speak.
It just comes back to that, right?
Yeah,
like what is your where is it? Are you if you really are working hard and you're enjoying the work, right? You can handle all the money because all the money there is just for you to actually keep going to do more work.
I think there's two ditches with that, right? One of the ditch is that I hate work, but I just want the money, right?
Yep.
The other ditch would be, you know what? I know I have to work, but I have to love what I'm doing to actually work.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's enough because the world is teaching that, right?
Yep,
they're saying, do what you love. And then you have the guy who's working at a factory because he wants to put food on the table for his family, right?
He's doing the right thing.
He's doing the right thing. That's a godly thing to do, is to provide for your family, right? And so he's out there doing that. It's quote unquote mundane, if you will, right? Routine. You're just doing the same thing, monotonous over and over. And you look, you're like, man, I don't skip to work like Warren Buffett did, right? Like, this sucks. But I think it's the mind shift of, but who are you working for? Because in that case, you're not working for the Lord, and you're not actually working to provide for your family. If you're desiring that I have to love every single moment of every day, or I'm not actually working for the Lord, that's false, right? Because God does call us to work, right? And He does call us to provide for our families. And if you can mind shift that to say, hey, you know what? This is where God has me right now. I'm not saying don't go. We live in an incredible country. You can look for a job, right? And by the way, we have enough jobs for our people, right? And it's just we don't have enough people that want to work, right? But we do, and
truthfully too, not every job's gonna. The current cost of living, depending on what your situation is, not every job is going to pay enough.
Correct.
For you to,
there's some people working 2 jobs, right?
3 jobs.
Just to do it, right?
Yes, and I can get that, like, work is a vexation because I'm just grinding away. Like,
right.
So don't get me wrong on that one. Like, I get, like, if you're having to do that to provide for your family, at the end of the day, like, you're doing that to provide for your family.
But that's the joy. That's where you find the joy, right?
That is the joy.
You can look at the dinner table when you get home, right, and say, I am providing for my family. You can look, for some men and their wives are saying, hey, it's good for my wife to be at home, to take care of the kids, to do that stuff because she's imparting in them Christian values. She's teaching them. She's doing whatever, right? And so you're the only household income, right? And it's tough because you live in an area where it just costs a lot. It's all this. So you got to work the 2-3 jobs, right? But you can go home and you can say, you know what? I'm doing this because God has called me to, and He has given that to me to provide for my family. And that's where you find the joy. It doesn't necessarily have to be the fact that I just incredibly love digging ditches. That's like my favorite thing in the world to do is to work at the sewer plant. But you also can find the good in that it's a need. Right, that you're helping the community, you're helping this, right? You can find the need. A lot of it's just shifting your mind, transforming your mind to the values that God has said are good. Right. Yeah,
and all of those things too. I mean, as time grows, like if you're the person who is like can very easily be contented with. There are people who are just very easily contented with like being the maintenance guy at the local gym or whatever.
And they do a great job.
They do a great job. They love it, and then there's the people who are discontented. I would just argue, like, as time goes, like, there's a point of finding contentment and being grateful where you're at. And then also recognizing, like, okay, but what's the thing? Like, if this is clearly not your end goal, then, like, what's that goal? How do you work toward that goal?
Right.
And still do so with thankfulness. Right. But be wise and then grow out of it. Because clearly, like, there's a point where you're growing past something and you need to step into the new thing.
And I've seen so many people get paralyzed by fear and the fear of the unknown, if you will, right? And it's like, I'm not content at the job that I have right now, right? I know that, and I've heard people say this, man, I know God's called me to this. I know He has. And I'm like, well, go do it.
Go do it.
And they're like, yeah, but if I do it, then I don't have insurance. And if I do it, then I don't have this. And then I don't have and it's like they have all these other excuses. Like, well, then maybe God hasn't called you for that, right? Or maybe
you're letting fear.
You're letting fear reign, right?
Yeah.
So who do you trust? Are you trusting in the Lord, right? And I'm not saying that, hey, step out in faith and then God's just going to automatically just bless you with $1 million and now you're going to be fine. I'm not saying that because there's still work involved.
Yep.
And part of the curse is work's hard, but it's not that work is bad.
Yep.
It's that work is hard. And that's part of it, right?
100%.
And so for the business or the entrepreneurial mind that's stuck in a job, a 9 to 5, and they're in a cubicle and they're like, man, I just want start small. You can do it. Yeah, it's going to take your 5 to 8 o'clock away, right? Of course it will. But most people who I've seen do that and they're faithful in that 5 to 8 o'clock becomes the full time.
Yep.
Right.
And if they want to, like a little bit, this is one of those like pay for a little bit of wisdom.
Yeah.
Before you go do it, to save yourself all the time and energy and scare, like all the frustration, so you can actually succeed. Because we know that most businesses fail when they start. Right. And because people just don't know, they're trying to invent something new or whatever it would be. So in my mind, at that point, it's like, save up for a little bit of wisdom to either pay for somebody else to help mentor you along the way, to just like watch out for these pitfalls. Right. And or my biggest piece of advice for anybody looking that's like in this situation is go get the revenue first. Yeah. Before you like try to build out this huge thing, because people think like, oh well, I'm going to need this website, I'm going to need this branding, I'm going to need fill in all these things before I can even start, and I need to make sure I get my LLC started. I need to make sure look, I'm not telling you any tax like advice or financial advice here. I'm just saying look, none of it matters if you don't make money. At all. And your job, you're never actually going to succeed with your business idea unless you make money. So how about you go figure out that pain point that you can help somebody else solve, and get money, and then with that money, do the deliver. Keep investing into it, right? And I'm not, again, no tax advice, but the IRS doesn't care about your taxes if you don't make money. So just go get the money and then deal with the taxes afterwards. You actually do not have a company unless money has exchanged, right? So Dan Martell, there's a guy, and again, I'm not promoting him or anything, but I'm just saying and he says this, he's like, one of the first steps, everybody thinks maybe it's the LLC or it's this or it's that, or I've got to have the website, or I've got to have a business card, and I've got to have a logo, and he's like, no, stop. Yes, all those things will come. But he's like, your first step, find someone that wants to buy whatever you're selling. Whether it's a service, a product, whatever it is, right? Find someone because until they actually want to buy it, you don't have a business. You have nothing. It's nothing. It's not even a hobby even, because you haven't even gotten it, right? And you will save yourself so much time, though, because I've done that where I'm like, I try to do this whole thing, did all this stuff, spend a year working out, and then nothing ever happened. Nobody buys, right? And then it was like a waste of my year, a waste of a ton of money with it. And frustration. It was like, and I was burned out. And by the way, everybody says they will buy your stuff until it's time to actually buy it, right? So all your friends, oh yeah, man, that's a great business. Yeah, dude, I would buy that. I would totally do that. And then you create it, and they're like, I don't really know, right? So it's like, oh, you did it, And then it's nothing against you. It's nothing against them, right? But it's like, hey, you didn't do the work at the beginning. Create it. Don't go out there and get the business cards and do the network. Don't do all that. Get the product, see if someone wants to buy it. Get the service, see if someone wants to buy it, and then figure out how to provide that, right? That's it. And now you've got a business. And one last piece of it, I would also say too, for that, once you do it, I guess the only other thing I'd say is if you pay for a mentor, you're gonna before you even do that, right? You're gonna have skin in the game. Where you're going to say, okay, I'm actually going to do this. Somebody else is going to hold me accountable to get the job done. And that's where I think go get wisdom, pay for wisdom, go do that thing, whatever that is, be wise, but be held accountable, because I think that's the other thing. It's a big barrier to entry. I don't know how long we have here, but I talked to a guy, doing these business makers thing. That guy's like, oh, he's 43. I want, I'm just working like a dog. Been working for somebody else. He's got this PhD, super smart guy. All these things, right? He's telling me all these things, and he's making dirt. And he's like, but he starts. I was like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I could do all this curriculum, all these. He says these big visions and aspirations, and I'm like, okay, but what's the one thing? Because you have to start with one. So take all the other stuff, all these other ideas that are just going to distract you from actually making any money. What's the one thing? It's like, well, I'm really good at tutoring for OChem. And I said, OCHEM's a really big deal, man. Tutoring for OCHEM, you got a lot of college students there. Where are you at? He's like, well, I got a college thing right down the town. I was like, okay, here's what you do. How much can you charge for that? He's like, well, I was charging this. And I said, okay, dude, go get yourself 10 clients. Go get yourself 10 clients, right?
Yeah.
And then step one, get the money coming in the door. Step two, then you figure out the name and your logo or whatever.
Sure.
But go secure the funds. And then let's talk about how in the world you can turn around and you just take those clients, you record those, you do an online class, so that way, and you have all these different tutorials showing people how to do it.
Right.
So then you can start getting 100 clients, and you can actually maintain those clients in 8, call it 1 hour sessions with 8 of them at a time.
Right.
And you'd be making $1,000 a day easy.
Yeah.
Doing this, and probably a year from now you'd be making 6 figures. Here's how you do it. I call him back 4 weeks later. You think he did any of that? Not even a single thing. None of it. Nothing. And you know why? Well, the truth is it's a great idea, but he's not even bought into his own idea. But I know man, if I as a person would have sold him into just spending money with me, just give me money to just hold you accountable.
Right.
I almost guarantee you, he would the flip would have been script. The script would have been flipped. He would actually have done something. You know?
Right.
So that's where I'm just huge into go find somebody.
Yeah.
Find, if you're just starting out, find somebody just to help you navigate the waters, keep the distraction away.
Right.
And pay some teeth. It's like getting in shape. It's you're just going to do a lot better. You can do it all for free.
Right.
It's not hard. You can understand everything. But if you go to pay somebody else to get you in shape, you're probably going to get in shape because you're paying a lot of money every month. And they're telling you, and they're kicking your butt, and being like, "Why are you cheating? What are you doing? Don't waste my time."
Right.
And you're like, "Crap! I have to answer this person. I don't want to."
So a better way to learn is experience.
Yep.
The best way is to learn from someone else's experience,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And it really is.
Yeah.
And so you can garner a lot from people who have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years, and find that person who you're like, man, I want to be where they're at.
Yep.
And it's going to cost you. But how much is it going to cost you not to do that, and how much are you going to save because you did that?
And you're saving all the mistakes. You don't have to learn those expensive mistakes for time and money. You're going to spend a lot less with them than you would on the mistakes that you'll make.
Yeah. Do you know why the business gurus and the self-help stuff is so profitable? Is because they can write the same thing in a different way 10 times in a book, right?
Yep.
This book, because they know they're going to have repeat customers because they're not doing what they said in the first book.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And it literally is. And it's at some point, all this knowledge and all these things that we have on our phones and all this stuff that we can learn from, it takes action or it's just a dream.
Yep.
Right?
And it's just a beautiful distraction.
Yeah.
That's why I say so much of it is just removing distraction.
So would you say then, as far as high achievers or business owners and stuff, one of the key differentiators in them is actually just taking action?
That's it. And some of those guys too, the very high end guys, are geniuses at getting other people to do stuff for them.
Delegating.
Yep.
So they know what they do well. They know what needs to be done. They find someone who does that well, and they delegate.
And then they stay on mission.
Yeah.
Everything that they're doing is on point.
That's actually their number one job, right? As a CEO, your number one job is keep everybody on mission.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And so they're obsessed about it.
Yeah.
And they just don't stop thinking about it. So don't look anywhere besides Mr. Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Beast. Everyone knows who Mr. Beast is.
Yep.
Mr. Beast just solely obsessed on YouTube. He wasn't distracted with Facebook, any other platform, nothing.
Yep.
He just wanted to make the most amazing content.
Yeah.
He's still obsessed about that.
Yeah.
Right? But then because he's got this North Star that he's just always going after, right? He's got this big vision with it, but everything else falls in line with that. And it defines his mission. It defines the reason why he wakes up in the morning, and all of the creativity, and anything that's outside of that, he doesn't want anything to do with naturally. Yeah. It's not even his desire.
Right.
So there's no distraction with it.
Well, and of course he's grown money and all that stuff, right? He's grown all that stuff, and he's diversified some things, right?
Yep.
What I tend to see happen is a lot of businesses starting out, they diversify way too early, right? So you look at Chick-fil-A, right? What did they do? A lot of people had a chicken sandwich, but they also had burgers. They also had this. They also had that. What did they do? They said, we're going to make a chicken sandwich, and we're going to do it the best, right? And we're going to provide the best service around this chicken sandwich.
McDonald's.
Raising Cane's, right?
Yeah, Raising Cane's.
What do? They do chicken strips, right? That's what they do. And you go and you look at their menu, and it's so simple, right? There's not a lot of options. There's not a lot of this. This is what we do. This is who we are, and that's how they're able to scale, right? Yep. And again, the moment that money starts coming in, opportunity, and here's mission drift is what I call it, is one of the most pitfalls that you can fall into, and that's when you try to diversify. Well, I've got to have this option because everybody will tell you what you need.
Yep.
Right. And they'll say, oh man, I would really love to have Chick-fil-A open on Sunday because every time I want Chick-fil-A, it's on a Sunday.
Yep.
And they're like, no, that's not who we are. Like, we're not doing that. Or man, if I could just get a burger, if Chick-fil-A would start doing burgers, wouldn't that be great? Because they would do an awesome job on burgers. And they're like, no, that's not who we are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and plus it's even in their name. How do you serve burgers when you're Chick-fil-A? Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so finding what you're good at, finding the area and finding them who you are, the mission, who your company is, stick with it.
Yep.
And do it. And go all in and figure it out, right? And be good. And then the other thing that I've been hearing a lot is excellence. So speak a little bit about being excellent at what you do.
Yeah, so I don't like, most of the time when I hear people say, like, well, I want to be excellent, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Which is like, here I am too saying be excellent.
Right.
But the reason why I don't like it, because there is a reality of subjectivity, right? So, and this is probably, I'm speaking more to the owners of something when if you're owning this, and I will say absolutely be excellent, and but the thing is, you're the standard setter of excellence.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're the standard setter of excellence, for those underneath of you, you want to make sure that you objectively define excellence. It cannot be subjective to your idea.
Right. So just saying the word excellence is virtue signaling.
Is virtue
right?
signaling.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Right. And so, so what you need to do is define what is excellent. Define what it is.
Yeah.
So you're saying, like, for example, you just brought up Chick-fil-A. They make an excellent chicken sandwich.
Right.
Well, they define that by saying, we're going to make the best chicken sandwich in the world. And then we're going to make it over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And then we're going to say, okay, well, how is it excellent? Everything leading up to the chicken, like the actual, we're serving it, to where are we sourcing it from? What are they eating? What are they, they are in the business of like being the best. And so that's really, that was their North Star for that, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking about whatever business you're in, when you really need to define the word excellence, if you want, like, what is it?
Right.
Be extremely specific as possible.
Right.
And then rope people in on that, because that's something that they can achieve. They cannot achieve your idea of excellence if you do not define what that is.
And if you're not actually doing it, you yourself, right?
Yes.
And so if you're a leader, that means people are following you. By the way, you're not a leader if no one's following you.
Yep.
And you got to have followers to be a leader, right? But if you've got employees and you're saying, hey, I demand this, and you're not doing it, it's not going to set the culture.
You're just a hypocrite. You're just a hypocrite. You're, at the end of the day, you're that bad, guy. You're that bad Christian sticker fish guy, and he's just saying, but you should do it because I'm a Christian.
But we should strive to find that what sets us apart, what is excellence, right? Strive to find that and then do it. And I think that right there is actually a distinctive Christian business owner's way, right?
And if you really want it, you really truly want to be excellent, then what you do is you say, here's the standard of excellence. So maybe you're the guy who's like, yes, and I'm not, like, here's the standard of excellence, and you're saying, I'm not doing it too, right? Then you're open and honest about that. Like, here, I'm even trying to do this.
I'm working on this, right?
I'm working on this.
Right.
Like we, now it becomes, instead of like, I'm doing, like, you follow me, it's like, no, we, which is great leadership, are going in this direction.
Right.
We have things to grow. Like, even at like Business Makers Network, right? We're still small. Mm-hmm. And I've told you, like, I don't remember if I told you earlier on, or I tell everybody, I'm talking like, please give me negative feedback.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't be in business here if I only got negative feedback, because like I want to do something that's rewarding.
Right.
But I want the negative feedback because I want to do better.
Right.
And then the moment I can't, like, people have given me great ideas, I'm like, man, I wish I could execute on those ideas right now.
Right.
But we're just not there yet.
Right.
Will we grow there? Yes, Lord willing, we're going to get there.
Right.
Man. That's where we're going.
Yeah.
And so just being humble. Right. Here's the standard. Here's the goal. Here's where we are going. And then keeping everybody on board along the way.
Hungry, humble, and smart. Yeah. That's what we're looking for, right?
The Lord helps you with the smarts.
Right.
And if you're not smart enough, Lord, help please bring somebody else who's smarter.
Yeah.
Help me out,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I heard Dave Ramsey actually, and I think he got it from Peter Lincecone or whatever, how you pronounce his last name. And but that's how he defines what he's looking for in an employee: hungry, humble, and smart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what we need here.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's it. That's what you're looking for, because the humbleness is I'm not there. I want to learn. I want to get better. I'm teachable. I'm coachable. I'm willing to do what's asked of me and more, right? And then the hungry part is that drive, right? I want to do better. I want, like, it's that thing. I want to provide this service and I want to do it well. And then the smarts just comes through. I want to learn, right? So you're constantly learning. You're constantly doing that. You're constantly changing. Smart doesn't have to mean I can do trigonometry in my head or whatever. Like, that's not what I'm talking about, right? And but it's like, hey, what's my craft? I want to get better, so I got to learn, right? And then that's how you become smart. Yeah, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And in that sense too, like, everybody is smart enough, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that's blown my mind in business, I don't know if you've ever run into this, but just like realizing how, like, me, even personally, like, especially at Business Makers Network, right? I'm leading this thing. There's oftentimes I'm in the room, like, how in the world am I in this room?
Not the smartest guy in the room. Yeah.
I am easily the dumbest person in this room. Often, right?
Yeah.
And but realizing too is like, but I'm here.
Yeah.
And the reason, like, why am I here is like, well, because I was willing to show up.
Sure. Yeah. So
You know.
so I tell people this story. So I've sat with multiple millionaires in my life, right? Sat at a table, talked with them, all this stuff, and interviewed some of them. I've been able to sit at the table with 2 billionaires in my life. Okay. One of them, super sharp.
Yeah.
Like you're talking to me like, I get why you're where you're at. The other one, I'm not kidding you, was dumber than a box of rocks.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy cow, how did this
you
guy do it? And he's self-made, right? He didn't get it handed to him. And here's how he did it. The same way with the smart guy too, right? Yeah. But how they did it was they never quit. Yeah. They just kept showing up. They just kept doing it. And they never quit. They had that hunger, right? That drive. And, the kids would say they got that dog in them, right? Like that's what they had. And it's like he didn't quit. And again, he wasn't a jerk, or he wasn't like ruthless or anything. It was literally like, I'm sitting at the table, we're all talking, we're talking about world things. I'm like, this guy isn't, like, he's dumb. Like he literally has no, and I'm like, how did he do it? And as I got to talk to him, like, got it, figured it out. Yeah. He just kept showing up.
Yep. And I think too, what's interesting about that, like, to that point too, and just bringing the Lord back into that. Yeah. Is that, like, I've just come to, like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I just come to the conclusion, like, every man's going to get what he really wants. Like, if you're a Christian, like, God's going to give you the desire of your heart. And so if it's, like, good for you, if it's right for you. Obviously, you don't get take what I'm saying with some salt.
I've seen people get whatever they wanted, and they got it, and they're like, I actually didn't want that,
good.
But I worked at, you know what I mean? And the Lord still gave it to them because it's what they wanted.
What they wanted, right?
Yeah.
And so I just, like, a lot of these things, you find out even with faith. Like, faith is very much like this. You just need to show up. Right. Like, when Jesus talks about faith, like, it's never about how much faith you need. It's always how little. Right. And, just the size of a mustard seed. That's saying how little faith you need. Right. Right. To accomplish big things. Right. And I've come to the conclusion, like, you just need enough faith to show up and participate. That's it. That's it. Just actually show up. Like, exude the fruits of the Spirit. Abide in Him. Abide in Him. Show up. Do work. Do work.
Don't quit.
Yeah. Don't quit. Do work unto the Lord. And you know what? You can be as dumb as rocks. Yeah. And God's going to take care of you. Yeah. Like, because at the end of the day, like, even me on my smartest day, like, I'm really dumb. I'm like, wow, I am a dumb sheep. And the older I get, TC,
the more you know.
The older I get, the more dumb I know I am. Like, wow, how do I have shoes on my feet? Like, I just.
but here's a philosophical thing for you. Maybe just noticing the dumber you get makes you smart. Right?
Yeah, that's it. It's the mind twist. It's the mind twist. Like, I think what it does is it makes you smart, because in the sense that, like, it's that positive feedback loop. Is that because it makes you humble. Yeah. And when you're humble, you can learn. And when you learn, you get smarter. Right. And that's the way you want to be. Yeah.
The more I know, the more I know I don't know, is what I heard someone say. Like,
exactly. Yeah. So you got to go learn some more.
Yeah. Yep. So if you're sitting here with a 21-year-old and they're wanting to be an entrepreneur, they've got that hunger, they're humble, they're smart enough, right? They've got it, like, they've got some knowledge, right? They kind of understand some things. What would be some advice that you've seen over the years? And you've already given one. Find a mentor, right? Yeah, it'll cost you. Find a mentor. And by the way, a lot of my mentors are dead. and I read and I study them. How did they do it? What were they doing? What drove them? What was this? What was that? Right? We have tools with books. We have tools with the internet. Right? That even if you want to reach out, but they're not going to take your email or they're not going to do that. Learn from them from that way. But what would be another thing that you would tell that 21-year-old humble, hungry, smart guy or girl that's sitting there?
I would say if entrepreneur route, mentor, go work for somebody else in the field that you want to be in.
Right.
So because a lot of guys just want to I just want to do this and I'm going to do it. It's like, how about you go get an education by doing.
Yeah.
And the best part about going to work for somebody else rather than going to like college or
you're
something.
You're actually getting paid for that.
You're getting paid for that education.
Right.
You're learning a system.
Right.
And when you're in that system, I can guarantee you while you're learning like underneath somebody else, right? You're gonna learn all sorts of opportunities within that business because you're gonna learn all these weaknesses. Because all of business and all of work is solving problems. That's it. If we didn't have problems, we wouldn't have anything to do. So we're filled with problems.
You want to make a lot of money, solve a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. Or solve one problem for a really rich person.
Yeah.
That like really makes their life better. Right.
Yeah.
So pick your poison. You know what you want. You're like, but to that point is like you're gonna get that education, and in there you're gonna learn all sorts of different business opportunities that now that you've been in there, you actually have the skill set to maybe solve that problem and present it to the marketplace.
Absolutely.
So, go work for somebody else.
So how can people find the Business Maker Network? Because here's the deal. Right now, Business Maker Network is looking for like-minded people in all across the country to help start chapters there, to help do that. But how can people find, if they can get involved, if they can be a part of, how do they find it? Yeah,
so go to businessmakers.network, www.businessmakers.network.
Yeah.
And then that's our website, and you can join your tier. If you want to shoot us an email, you can shoot us an email at hello@businessmakers.network.
Yeah.
And it'll come to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have or get on a call and meet with you, and we can go from there. But to your point, we are looking to establish local chapters in every town across the country, and we're looking for local chapter presidents. And so if that's something you're interested in, definitely reach out. Would love to talk with you.
And if you're in my area in Davis County, obviously we'd love to start one in Davis County, Indiana, and I would love to help facilitate that and help get you in contact with people. They've got an app that you can use when you're part of a tier, right? That kind of brings these business executives, business people together. Inside of that, you can bounce questions. You can see when events are popping up in your area. I was able to come and speak at the one in Nashville. It was fantastic. Had a guy there that just crushes it on LinkedIn, and he was just fantastic to listen to, right? I've made connections and friends through it. It's been fantastic. So just look up businessmakers.network, because the Business Makers Network, so businessmakers.network. Look them up, get involved, and let's start building the Christian economy, and let's start using the Christian economy for the good of the world, the glory of God and the good of the world.
And the joy of our families and ourselves.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Charlton, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. Appreciate what you guys are doing. Real quick, though, because I almost forgot, the vision for Business Makers, right, is to actually have that collective group of business people and the pool of money to try to influence like political action that will actually push forward good values, Christian values in the state, in the country, right? And the only way you're able to do that is to pull those people together, to pull the resources together, and to make a loud cry for those things.
100%. We want that on the national level and the local level. And as you know, you're in local politics.
That's right.
It actually doesn't take that much to swing things locally.
That's right.
And so we want as Christians and Christian business owners to swing local politics for the good of their neighbors, to love their neighbors.
That's right.
Yeah. Right, to do it well, and Christian business leaders are by nature leaders.
Yeah, for too long, pagans have been running politics, and they've been running it with their money and with their ideals, and that obviously we know have been a detriment to our country, to our neighbors, and so it's time that we stand up and we start fighting against that, and it takes all of us with a collective voice to do that.
100%.
Yeah. So, hey, Charlton, thank you so much, man,
thanks,
for jumping on.
TC.
Guys, go check out businessmakers.network if you want to get involved. We would love to see these things pop up all across the country. And if you like this podcast, if you know someone who's a business owner who you're like, man, I think they would actually really enjoy this, send them this podcast. Send them to the businessmakers.network. We would love that. But guys, as always, we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you again next time.
God bless.